Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Break-Thru Active podcast. I have a guest with me today. It's the most famous guest that we have ever had on Newcastle's #1 podcast. I've got Miss Morgan Freeman. Hello, Morgan. How are you doing?
Hello. Great.
Thanks for coming on. Morgan has been training with us at our Adamstown gym for the last couple of years, going on 2 years. And she has since been extremely consistent with her training. She also has a lot of sport involved in her life. So I just want to talk a little bit about what that looks like in her day-to-day life and her week-to-week, and how the gym has fit in for her, because prior to her meeting us, she hadn't actually done any sort of gym training, or at least not too much of it. So first of all, Morgs, tell me a little bit about sport in your life growing up. What did you play and what did you do when you were a teenager or even earlier?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure mum and dad put me into netball like as soon as they could, like before school started. I've played that now over 20 years. That was always like the main sport that I played growing up. Probably wasn't until about like year 10 or 11 that I tried some other things. So I went into touch football. Then from finishing school, I just took up like every single sport that someone offered to me. I said yes to. So still going along with that. I think I've dabbled in fencing. I did skipping at school. What else have I done? That's a
You
weird
did walking,
sport.
didn't you? Extreme walking.
Oh yeah,
What
I
was
did
that
go. That
called?
was the only time I've made it to like state was for the race walk for athletics.
Race walking.
Yeah, wasn't as good at sprinting as I was at walking, so any further.
Over
Yeah,
20 years of netball, that's like, you're only just over 20, it seems like. So you've been playing that like literally your whole life, over two decades.
yeah. There's like
Amazing.
nothing new in that sport, but I think at the moment I'm playing, or like we're talking like rugby union for the first time this year, league tag only a couple years. I've just started basketball, but pretty much I play sport Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday if I can, if it's not raining.
Yeah, that would piss you off if it's raining. You don't get
Yeah.
your weekly sport quota in.
Yeah.
And I did hear through a little birdie that you might be playing cricket this year too.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that because someone is like, hey, do you want to play that? And I go, sure, why not? And I don't really think about it again until they've signed me up. But yeah, I will have a go at that in summer too.
You've pretty much ticked off just about every sport I can think of. You probably play a bit of soccer, maybe a bit of
Yeah.
AFL. No AFL.
I actually haven't tried that yet.
That's next. That's next.
Yeah.
Well, we actually met through Holly, who used to come into our gym when we had a touch footy team, and that's when Morgan and I met, and we had a breakthrough team, and I think it might have been like the only one on the team that wasn't a member.
Yeah.
and then you're like, well,
outsider.
I guess I'll join up now because I know all you guys. And that's when, not long after that, you got started. But in between all of that sport, like you said, 20 years of netball and touch footy and walking and fencing and everything else. Had you ever done gym stuff like through sport, or just like by yourself or with a friend?
No, not at all. To be honest, I kind of, anyone that said they go to the gym, I'd like roll my eyes at them and be like, what's the point?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially when you're playing as much sport as you were, there wasn't like a need for it from a fitness standpoint. I was kind of more curious if there was any sports that might have included a bit of that for training. Did you play like representative netball and things when you were a bit younger?
I like just through the school competitions, but I never really bothered outside of school. I've not been one for training really ever. So if a sport involved training, I probably didn't sign up to it.
Just game day.
Yeah.
And you still play netball now, like you're 20 years and counting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's your position?
I'd love to be a shooter, but I'm still like a center or a wing attack.
You're the most active on the court, at least, getting lots of steps and running and jumping and passing and being annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of my teammates would say I'm like the laziest center they've seen, but it works.
Got to play smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Morgan plays league tag with my partner and a few other girls who I know too. Jamie's partner, and you have been recently. Well, the season's over now, but you were recently appointed fullback of the team, which was cool. So tell me about that experience, because I know that's a bit different than playing in the middle or playing any other position.
Yeah, I still don't reckon I know that much about it, but it's a lot more running constantly. All the like in the middle, you run up and back 10 meters, which is still exhausting, but running side to side and up and back. And then if someone, makes their way through our line, a bit of a sprint to try and catch them, it's a lot tougher than I expected, a lot more pressure. I was a bit off Riley at the start when he tried to put me there because I didn't want to be there, but I've grown to love it now and it's like my fitness is way better than it's ever been since playing there.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you don't really think of it as being a really active position because you are at the back unless they make a break, but you're at the back sort of for the 4 or 5 tackles and then they kick and then you hopefully retrieve the ball and run it back. But it's a lot more to it than meets the eye. How would you compare the activity level of footy compared to netball?
Heaps different. I think just because footy are always running, where netball's kind of short, sharp sprints and then you get a bit of a break. It's like a little more stop-starty than footy is just like always going. But I guess too in fullback, I have to do a lot of talking, which is extra exhausting when netball, by now we all know what we're doing, so we're not really communicating as much.
Yeah. Well, way smaller field, right? I mean, court.
Yeah, totally.
Like the court's what, 10 by like 10 meters wide, 20 long, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like football fields 50 by 100. So
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Even just projecting your voice so much further, like that can be tiring. It's like when I'm yelling at you guys at the gym, I get very tired by the end of that, yelling at
With
my
the fans over the top.
yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. And I think it's obvious that you love sport, but do you feel like you love the camaraderie of being in a team, or do you just love like moving your body and being active?
Like both. I love being amongst a team, and I feel like that's where some of my best friendships have come from, is just playing sport with random people and they turn out to be some of the best friends I've got. But I love moving my body. I feel like it's a really cheap form of psychology because it definitely improves my mental health. Like I learned that particularly during lockdown when I couldn't move. But I'm just uber competitive, so I love to win. So that's also a part of sport too that you don't get just going for a walk.
No, we could race walk and be competitive.
Yeah, beat the people next to me on the Fernley track.
yeah, up and down the Fernley track. You got like a secret competition with them that's unspoken, but you're beating them. No, I think a lot of people probably share your sentiment with team sport. Like obviously you need to have some level of attraction to the sport itself, but so much of it is who you play with and the environment you're in. And if you are like doing training, or even if you're not training, like even if it is just game day, like you spend a lot of time with those people. And I think you share a special bond when you are actually in like that competitive moment of the game, and like you and your team are trying to beat the other team, and if you win, like you celebrate and you're all happy, and if you lose, then you kind of console each other and share that
Cry
disappointment.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you share that disappointment together. And I think that's somewhat what people like about group training, like with us at the gym too. Like it is done in that group, and although you're not competing against a team, you're like competing against the workout almost.
Yeah. Secretly each other.
Yeah, you and Steph before she got heavily pregnant, you were
Yeah.
she had an excuse by the end, but
Finally beat her.
yeah. But no, you kind of sharing that bond of the workout, and I think that there's a lot of parallels between that and sport, and a lot of people who either do play sport or perhaps they've finished up playing sport because they're getting a bit older and sport's just not really viable for them anymore. They like to transition into group training because it sort of shares a lot of the similarities of what they enjoyed about sport, and unfortunately their body just doesn't quite get to keep up anymore and can't do it anymore.
Hey guys, just very quickly, if you have been enjoying our podcast and you've been watching us on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel. If you've been listening to our podcast, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you've been listening to us. It really helps the channel grow, and I would be extremely appreciative and grateful if you took a moment to do that for me. Okay, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Tell me about I think it was me running the session, but tell me about your first workout with us, because I can't remember if it was me, and if it was, I can't remember what we did. But yeah, share a little bit about what that was like for you.
I don't really remember that specifically, but I do remember it being really hot. Trying to convince, or actually the first one, I did 1 week without Steph. Before I convinced her to come too. I managed to get Holly to come along. I was nervous. What am I going to wear? What are the other girls going to be wearing?
All the important.
What are we going to do? Like, didn't know if I'd be able to actually do anything once I got there. But I feel like straight away, I can't even remember who would have been there then.
It was the start of 2021, right? Start of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember immediately feeling comfortable with the people that were in there. Not comfortable with what we were doing, that's for sure. It was like a rude shock that maybe I wasn't as fit as I thought I was, or as strong as I thought I was. But
I remember you picking it up very quickly. Like I remember it might not have been the first one, or it might have been first week or second week, and we're doing some back squats, and I was like, well, have you done any back squats before? And you're like, no. Like, this is what's that thing over there? Like, oh, that's a bar.
yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this is how we do it. And I remember you just like dropping down into this really nice squat, just as though you'd been doing it for years. And I was like, well, looks like you're fine. I'll just leave you be. Like, don't overdo it with the weight. And then, I think having that background of playing so many different sports, because we have some people that will come in to our program and maybe they've just played netball their whole life, or they've just played soccer, or they've just done tennis or something, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying everyone should be playing everything, but when you've had such a range of sports like you've had, you no doubt would have to adapt quite quickly and learn something new quite quickly. And yeah, I think the same was in the gym. You just like picked it up, and although like you mentioned, you didn't feel like you were super fit or strong yet, but just the movement of it and just sort of getting comfortable with that, I think was a lot faster than other people when they're starting out. When you started playing league tag, that was last year as well, I think.
Yeah.
You hadn't played, or you played touch before, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And I know you're like a diehard Manly Sea Eagles fan. You might cop a lot of shit for that. Sorry to let the cat out of the bag. Was that something that you wanted to play when you were younger? Because I know like it's very different now, but there wasn't as much opportunity for like women's women or
Yeah.
girls to play rugby league?
Well, until you suggested it to me, like to go play with Kate, I didn't even know that sport existed to want to play it. To be honest, I thought it was like touch, OzTag, and rugby league. That was kind of, I didn't know that was its own little sport.
Yeah. Just for anyone who might not know, league tag it's a combination of rugby league and OzTag. So there's no tackling. So you take the tags as opposed to tackling, but all the other rules are the same. So you kick, there's 6 tackles, you can kick on the last, they kick for goal, there's field goals, penalty goals, dropouts, all that stuff, but just no tackling. Has it given you a greater appreciation for when you watch like professional sport, like Turbo or someone playing for Manly, about how hard it actually is?
Yeah, it's definitely like, especially that first year, way harder to I guess see everything. It's easier to watch it on the telly and see everything, like, oh, why didn't you pass it there? But when you're down on that level, you're like, oh, you can't see everything.
It's so funny when we're all such like armchair experts when you're watching the game. I was watching the game with my dad on the weekend, and he's like a serial offender for it. And he goes for the Bunnies, so he was happy that they beat the Roosters. But there were some times when like someone didn't pass or they missed a tackle, and he'd be yelling at the screen, "Oh, why didn't you pass? Like you shouldn't have kicked." And it's like so easy just to see it from like a bird's eye view of what you should do, but when you're in the spur of battle, it's extremely different.
Totally different, yeah.
Lots of stress and pressure and anxiety, especially if you're fullback. You get like singled out, and it's like all eyes on you at the back.
Yeah, and all you can hear is just like a blur of yelling. You're not really sure what anyone's telling you what to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you can't hear
tenfold.
You can't hear my yelling. I'm glad. I'm always
No.
hurling abuse at you. No.
No, that's Dad.
Yeah. I often sit next to your dad. Actually, we chat footy, but nothing but positivity from our end.
Yeah.
Cheers, squad. No, we might leave it there, Morgs, but I just wanted to I guess finish up because you have been nearly with us for 2 years now, and I think it's just another active part of your life that you've obviously taken to and been consistent with. But I wanted to I guess leave it with, do you feel like that it's had an impact on your other sport? Do you feel like it's made you I guess fitter and stronger, which has helped with other things?
Yeah, 100%. Both fitter and stronger. I think after I started with you guys in the January, and by the time netball season started, first quarter of centre, I came off and I didn't want to die. And I thought, maybe that's thanks to going to the gym 5 days a week for 3 months before that. But yeah, it's made a massive difference.
Yeah, I think from my experience with people who train with us and play sport, it has a good carryover effect because it's not just running or like it's not just weights, like it's a bit of everything. The same way, like when you're playing sport, it's not just the one thing. It's stopping and starting and changing directions, and sometimes you have to be strong and sometimes you have to be fast. So yeah, good to hear that it's been helpful for you. If only we had met you earlier back in your race walking days and your fencing days, you might have made the Commonwealth Games. You know what I mean?
Hey, who says it's too late?
It's not. You're still young. You're only in your early 20s. You got plenty of time. Up and down the Fernley track.
Yeah.
Wiggling.
Heel toe.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll leave it there, Morgs. But thanks heaps for coming on. That was really fun. I'll leave you to it, let you get back to work. But thank you for everyone for listening, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.